Welcome back to another episode of The Quest for Self. I'm your host, Allie. What if the common thread in every hard situation you've faced is you? And what if that's actually a good thing? Have you ever been stuck in a moment where you're frustrated or upset, trying to figure out what went wrong? Maybe you tell yourself, if only this person had acted differently, or they should have supported me better. But what if the real common thread in all these tough moments isn't someone else, but you? And what if that realization is actually empowering instead of discouraging? This episode is really close to my heart because it's about something many of us avoid, and that's looking at our own role in the pain we experience. Not to blame ourselves, but to find freedom and growth through self-awareness. I want to be really honest here. Recently, I had to sit with some uncomfortable truths about a relationship I was in for 8 years. This relationship started almost 10 years ago. And honestly, at one point, I truly believed it was love. It felt like the real thing. This person came from a home where his parents were still together, nurturing, and supportive, a home where he was free to express himself, something that shaped who he was. But despite that, our relationship ended in a way that left me really unhappy. Towards the end, it wasn't love anymore. It was like two roommates coexisting, living together, working together, but emotionally distant. The kind of relationship where silence fills the space and the conversations don't go deeper than logistics. What really pushed me to reflect wasn't just the end itself, but the role I played in that story. I wasn't a good communicator. When I got upset, I didn't know how to speak up. So instead, I shut down. I gave the silent treatment. I said things I regret, cruel things that hurt the person I cared about. I carried a storm of anger inside of me, and I didn't know how to channel it. So it spilled over in all the wrong ways. I remember times after fights when I'd sit alone feeling a pit in my stomach, ashamed and confused. How did I become someone who could say such hurtful things to someone I loved? It was a heavy weight to carry. But I knew I didn't want to be that person. But I was stuck in patterns I didn't understand. I was angry, frustrated, and I didn't have the tools to express what I really felt. That silence and anger built walls instead of bridges. That's when I started therapy because I knew I needed help. I needed to learn how to break the cycle, how to communicate, how to be vulnerable without fear, how to hold myself accountable. It was hard, painfully hard. It forced me to see myself clearly, the good and the messy. I had to accept that I wasn't just a victim of the relationship's problems. I played a part in the hurt, in the breakdown. And you know what? That realization didn't break me. It actually set me free. It started a journey, a quest to find my true self and to understand what makes me happy. It's a journey I'm still on, and it's what led me to create this podcast, to share my story, raw and imperfect, hoping it might help someone else. Because growth It's not about perfection. It's about honesty. It's about owning your role in your story, the light and the shadow. First, I'd like to start by defining the concepts of blame versus accountability. I really want to be clear because I think this is something so crucial. This isn't about self blame. There's a huge difference between blame and accountability. Blame is pointing fingers, it's denying your part, it's feeling powerless. Accountability, on the other hand, is owning your role, accepting responsibility, and choosing to grow. Accountability is freedom. Blame is a trap. When you reclaim your power by seeing how your choices and boundaries, or lack thereof, shape your experiences, you open the door to change. When I started to really look at my role in my own story, I realized there were patterns I was constantly repeating. These patterns were showing me what I needed to learn, also what I needed to heal. These key points aren't just abstract ideas, they're clues and doorways. They helped me understand why things kept happening the way they did and how I could begin to change them. Before we get into the journal prompts that really helped me, I want to share the key lessons that opened the door to growth for me. Because these aren't just ideas, they're clues, they're doorways, and maybe, just maybe, they'll help you see your own story with new eyes. The first one is patterns reveal hidden wounds. I kept attracting arguments and silence because I didn't know how to express what was really going on inside me. Number two, beware of the victim trap. It's easy to think if only they'd change, I'd be okay. But that mindset, it only keeps stuck in a cycle where no real healing can actually take place. Number three, self-awareness is a game changer. When you start seeing your role clearly, you open the possibility to rewrite the story you've been living. Number four, your energy is a mirror. How you show up shapes what you attract. Relationships are reflections of what we need to work on within ourselves. Lastly, unspoken expectations hold us hostage. We often carry a script of what others should do. But if we don't communicate it, that script lives inside of us and feeds frustration. So if any of this resonates with you, I want to invite you to try something that really helped me. Journaling. Writing down these questions was like having a conversation with myself, or sometimes with my therapist. It forced me to slow down, to be honest, and to meet myself where I was without any judgment. So, write these down and answer them. Voice record yourself, but they will help you gain an inner perspective on yourself. Number one, where in your life do you find yourself in the same story, but with a different cast of characters? Number two, what role do you usually play in these stories? Are you the fixer, the avoider, the overgiver? Number three, what boundaries might you be missing or needing to strengthen? And number four, how have your own choices contributed to the patterns you keep experiencing? Try writing your answers down or even recording yourself talking through them. Don't rush. This is about seeing yourself with more clarity, which is the true foundation for real change. Here's the truth I've learned, and the truth I want to leave you with today. Awareness is everything. The moment you recognize your role, the patterns, the choices, the energy you bring, you gain the power to rewrite your story. Every step you take from that place is a step toward a better, freer, more authentic version of yourself. You're not broken. You're not doomed to repeat the same stories forever. You're growing. And growth, well, that's the greatest gift you can give yourself. So lean into the discomfort. It's like learning to dance in the rain. Awkward at first, stepping on your own feet, unsure where to move next. You get cold and messy, and maybe you want to stop. But if you keep going, you find a rhythm that feels right, a rhythm that's your own. Embrace the messy parts. Own your story, because every step you take leads you closer to who you're meant to become. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Quest for Self. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share. It would mean the world. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media, The Quest for Self.